العالمين وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين وعلى من تمسك بسنته بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. ثم أما بعد، فإن خير الكلام كلام الله عز وجل، وخير الهدى هدى رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم، وشر الأمور محدثاتها، وكل محدثة بدعة، وكل بدعة ضلالة، وكل ضلالة في النار. Today is the first day that we're going to deal with the classic book that was authored by one of the tremendous latter-day scholars of al-Hadith and al-Fiqh, al-Imam al-Nawawi. I have to begin by saying it is an honor to actually have this opportunity once again to teach this book in one of the masajid that are on the face of the earth. And that's because this book is one of the most important books that have ever been authored. It's one of those books that the Muslim should concern himself with. So we ask Allah for al-ikhlas, and we ask Him for al-itqan, to be precise and to bring the information that is beneficial, relative, and pertinent. I hope that you brothers and sisters will take this class as seriously as possible, because as I told you, this is one of the books that the Muslim should engage himself in. He should encourage his wife to learn the book. If a person comprehended these 40 or 42 ahadith that we're going to deal with today or in this class, inshallah, he or she will have a good concept of this religion. He doesn't have to be a hafidh of the Quran. If he memorized the Quran, that's even better. But if he got good understanding of these 50 hadith that we're going to deal with in this class, he understood them very well, he would be like an individual who is sitting on top of the mountain and he's looking at the dunya and he knows how to navigate. He knows how to welcome Ramadan. He knows how to make judgments when he hears things. He'll know how to just be a Muslim who's worth his weight in salt, as opposed to the Muslim who has ikhlas because he came into Islam or he was raised in Islam, but he's like the waraqatu shajar. He's like the leaf from the tree. When it falls from the tree, it doesn't know where it's going. It's just at the mercy of the wind, if you can say that. Although Allah Azza wa Jalla is the one who makes that leaf fall exactly where He wants it to fall. The point is, the leaf is just moving like that. Some people in Islam, they like that. They don't know what they're doing or why they're doing it. So I'm encouraging you, brothers, to the best of your ability, try to take the class seriously. Those of you who know Arabic, you people who your lisan, your mother tongue is Arabic, we would suggest that you memorize these hadith, so that every time we come the following week, inshallah, you have the first hadith memorized. And many of them are very short and easy. Those of you who are not Arabs, still, you can have an opportunity to memorize the hadith, and you're going to see his benefit in that. Benefit. So we hope that you guys, sisters, take this class seriously. And part of the seriousness in taking the class is trying to memorize the hadith for the following week, inshallah. 7 days to memorize a hadith, and none of them are extremely long. And also, from the seriousness, those of you who want to take notes, that's also extremely important. Now, I know there are some people who come just for the barakah of sitting in the masjid, and that's okay, inshallah, that's okay. But that's not the best way to get knowledge. But khayr. So we begin first by not elaborating, by saying a few small things about Al-Imam An-Nawawi. Al-Imam An-Nawawi, his name was Yahya Ibn Sharaf. His father's name was Sharaf. His grandfather's name was Murrah. And he is An-Nawawi. And that's nisbatan ila Qarya Saghira. He comes from a small town in Syria that was called Noah. The Syria right now that's being destroyed right now in the land of Asham, the Levant. That the Prophet says, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that the malaika, they lower their wings over that blessed area. So he came from that area. He was from Ahl Sham, rahmatullahi alayhi. And Imam An-Nawawi, his kunya was Abu Zakaria. Abu Zakaria. His name is Yahya. So he took the kunya of Zakaria. I mean, these scholars used to do that and people continue to do it. A person whose name is Zakaria, he'll take the kunya Abu Yahya because of the Prophet in the Quran. His son, he had the Prophet's name and his son was a Prophet, so people take that kunya. And Imam An-Nawawi, his laqab, his nickname, the people called him was Muhyiddin. Muhyiddin. Muhyiddin means the one who gave life to the religion. Muhyiddin. They used to say this to the scholars before. Shamsuddin, Sadruddin, Saifuddin, Qamaruddin. And this name in actuality is a name that is disliked in Al-Islam. We should name our children these types of names, and we should name each other these types of names either. Those scholars who wrote books about how to name your children and things like that, they used to dislike this name. Because the Prophet ﷺ's companions never named themselves these names. And also, Allah Ta'ala mentioned in the Quran, لَا تَزَكُّوا أَنفُسَكُمْ هُوَ أَعْلَمُ بِمَنِ اتَّقَى. Don't praise yourselves. Allah knows best who has taqwa. So, and Imam An-Nawawi used to get mad. And he used to tell people, I will forgive any and everybody who trespassed against me. You stole my money, you made riba, you lied on me, we had some beef. He said, I'm going to forgive everybody. Yawm al-Qiyamah, everybody is forgiven. But I will not forgive the one who calls me Muhyiddin, the one who gave life to the religion. He said, when did Al-Islam die that it needed me to give life to it? So that goes to show the humility of Imam An-Nawawi. And Imam Nawawi was a zahid. He was a person of zuhd. He was aesthetic. He didn't even get married. Rahmatullahi alayhi. He never married, never had children. So he never had children, and yet he took the kunya Abu Zakaria. And that's because he's from the ulama al hadith. You don't have to be married in order to take a kunya. You can even give you a small child a kunya, Abu Abdullah, Abu Abdurrahman. That's what the Prophet used to do, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Our mother Aisha, her kunya is Abdullah. And she never had any children, but the Prophet told the people, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, take a kunya. So everybody knows you by one name, and that's okay. But if you want further reward in showing your love for the sunnah, just say, if I have a baby son, I'm going to name him Abdullah. I'm Abu Abdullah. I'm Abu Saleh. I'm Mujahid, or whatever. So he never got married, and he was a zahid. He didn't like being praised, and as a result of that, he told everybody, anyone who trespassed against me, I forgive you in front of Allah. That takes a lot. How many of us, someone did something to you and you're ready to forgive? Some people I'll forgive them, some people I'm not ready to forgive. And Imam An-Nawawi said, everybody is forgiven, except the one who calls me Muhyiddin. And that's because he did not like to see himself raised up. And he was a great scholar in Islam. Today, unfortunately, if you don't call the speaker Sheikh, he gets upset with you. If you don't come, if you don't come and give his long, elaborate resume and his CV, he gets upset with you. And Imam An-Nawawi said, don't call me Muhyiddin. Don't call me Muhyiddin. Al-Imam An-Nawawi rahmatullahi ta'ala, he died in the year 676. So in our culture, the number 666, it means something in our culture. Doesn't mean anything in the religion. But 666 means something in our culture. You guys know what it means, right? In our culture, right? So one of the ways you can remember Imam An-Nawawi's death, his time, because you'll know, you don't have to memorize all of the times when scholars died, but you want to know who was around who. Ibn Taymiyyah was around, Al-Dhahabi was around, and like this. You want to know. So if you remember one number, you can remember other people. So one of the ways you can remember Imam An-Nawawi's death, 666, he's from the 6th century, is 676. Anybody know who died on 9/11? 911? Al-Imam Suyuti. So you can remember Suyuti's death, 9/11. And there are many scholars like that. You have to memorize these things in the way that is best for you, like in an acronym or something like that. Al-Imam An-Nawawi, rahmatullahi alayhi, many things can be said about him, but I wanted to give you the main things. He was a zahid. He was a humble man. He, rahmatullahi alayhi, he never got married. And another thing, Imam An-Nawawi was from the latter-day scholars that everybody in this ummah knows about him in his books. The former ulama, from the companions, and then the tabi'een, and those who follow the tabi'een, many people remember that. Everybody knows Bukhari and Muslim. Everyone knows Abu Hanifa, Malik. Everybody knows those people from the past. But as we get further into Islamic history, not many people know a lot of the names of the scholars. But Imam An-Nawawi from the 6th century was one of those scholars everybody knows. And not only that, his books have been accepted in the dunya. His books have been translated into English, into Urdu, into Swahili, into Somali, into Russian, in every language, his books. From his famous books, the book Riyadh al-Salihin. Everybody heard that book, everybody has that book for the most part. The 40 hadith of Imam An-Nawawi that we're dealing with today. And Imam An-Nawawi, he explained the second most important book in hadith, and that's Sahih Muslim. He explained that book, and Imam An-Nawawi. And in the Shafi'i fiqh, he has a book called Al-Majmu'. Those 4 books, and he has other books, are well known in the dunya. So Allah made qabul in the dunya for Imam An-Nawawi. People accept him. Which brings me to the last issue of Imam An-Nawawi, inshallah. Why is it, how is it that people accept him? Allah knows best, but maybe if we look in Surah Maryam, the end of Surah Maryam, Allah Ta'ala mentioned, إِنَّ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ سَيَجْعَلَ لَهُمُ الرَّحْمَنُ وُدًّا. Those people who do good deeds and they believe correctly, Allah Ar-Rahman is going to build love for that individual. Al-Imam al-Bukhari, Al-Imam Abu Hanifa, Abu Bakr, Umar, Uthman, Ali. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said in an authentic hadith that was collected by Bukhari and Muslim, Inna Allah idha ahabba abdan nada ya Jibril, inni uhibbu fulan fa-ahbibhu fa-yuhibbuhu Jibril. ثم ينادي جبريل في أهل السماء إن الله يحب فلانا فأحبوه فيحبه أهل السماء ثم يودع له القبول في الأرض. Authentic hadith. If Allah loves someone, Allah calls out to Jibril and he says to Jibril, Jibril, I love so and so, so therefore you love him. What Allah loves, we love. What Allah hates, we hate. It's our religion. Anything that Allah loves, we love. What Allah hates, we hate. So beware of the people who are trying to pass off to us loving things or accepting things, not even loving, accepting things that we know that Allah hates. Many things that Allah hates. So in our environment, we have to be flexible and we have to know what we're dealing with and how to deal with it. Homosexuality, different things. We realize where we are. We can't be prejudiced against homosexuals. We can't harm homosexuals. We can't just deal anyway. We have to follow the law as it relates to that. But beware of being a person who comes and says, I accept this thing, not even loving. I accept this thing. What Allah loves, we love. What Allah hates, we hate. But in loving that thing, we act a certain way, depending upon the situation. And hating that thing, we act a certain way, depending upon that situation. Just don't come and force that on me. So if Allah loves someone, he tells Jibril, I love so and so. Jibril doesn't say, well, I don't want to love him a lot. That's you want a lot of. Jibril can't say that. He has to do what Allah told him to do. And then Jibril goes and tells the angels in the heavens, hey angels, Allah loves so and so, so you love him. And then the angels begin to love him. And then his acceptance is put on the earth. So we take this as a sign, and Allah knows best, that Allah loved Al-Imam An-Nawawi. And Allah knows best. I can't emphatically state that. But the fact that the whole ummah has accepted his works and his personality. Everybody loves Al-Imam An-Nawawi. You don't have any opponents against Al-Imam An-Nawawi. Everybody loves him. Every culture knows about him. Everybody has books that he has authored. Everybody. It may be, Allah Ar-Rahman, he loves Al-Imam An-Nawawi. Allahu Alam. After that, Ikhwani, we come to explaining the book itself. We come to the book itself. Before getting into the book, there's a bit of introduction we need to know about some things concerning Al-Imam An-Nawawi's book to get a better appreciation. For an example, Sahih Bukhari. If you're going to learn about Sahih Bukhari, if you're going to read Sahih Bukhari, if you want to know where that book is, if someone were to tell you, and Imam al-Bukhari's book, it has thousands of hadith in it. Every time he wanted to put a hadith in his book, he would make a ghusl and then pray 2 rakats. If someone heard that, he'll have an appreciation for the book that maybe he wouldn't have had he not known that. That man would make a ghusl and 2 rakat before every single hadith. He would appreciate it more. So we want to give you this simple, easy background about the book itself. There are a number of ahadith that say, whoever saves and protects 40 hadith, my 40 hadith from my sunnah, he will be raised up Yawm al-Qiyamah with the ulama. He will be raised up Yawm al-Qiyamah with the fuqaha. Allah will put him into the Jannah. He won't go and he won't get the punishment of the hellfire. There are many in their transmissions, many chains of narration. All of them are weak. Whoever memorizes 40 hadith, whoever saves 40 hadith for my ummah, whoever teaches 40 hadith, then he'll get this and get that. All of those hadith are weak. All of them. But we found the scholars of Islam writing books calling it 40 hadith. The first one who ever did it was one of the greatest scholars from the Mutaqaddimeen, Al-Imam Abdullah ibn Mubarak. 10 people are Amirul Mu'mineen in hadith, highest level. Abdullah ibn Mubarak was one of them. He was the first one to write 40 hadith, a book about 40 hadith. Also Imam al-Bayhaqi, he wrote a book about 40 hadith, not just Imam An-Nawawi. And after them, many scholars, until we came to the latter day scholars, like Imam An-Nawawi, he wrote a book 40 hadith. Like Imam Ibn Hajar al-Haythami, not Ibn Hajar al-Asqalani, who explains Sahih Bukhari. Ibn Hajar al-Haythami, he wrote a book about 40 hadith. So there are hundreds of books of 40 hadith that the scholars wrote. Not just this one of Imam An-Nawawi. This is the most famous one. But there are hundreds of them. You have scholars who wrote books, 40 hadith in Usul and Furu'. 40 hadith in the virtues of La ilaha illallah. 40 hadith in the importance of al-jihad. 40 hadith in the importance of al-nikah. 40 hadith in al-adab, al-adab. 40 hadith in al-khutbah, the importance of the khutbah. Many issues. 40 hadith in at-tasawwuf. And the meaning of 40 hadith in at-tasawwuf, it means az-zuhd, being an aesthetic. Kun fi dunya ka'annaka gharib, aw abir as-sabil. Being in the dunya as if you were a stranger or a person crossing the street. It's not Sufism as we know it, as zuhd. 40 hadith that encourage you to not be a son of the dunya, an abd of the dunya. So there are many hadith, many books, 40 hadith, many. It's not just this one. Now, the reason why those scholars did that is, number one, ikhwani, they don't want to rely on weak hadith. Whoever saves 40 hadith, teaches 40 hadith, will be raised up, go to Jannah. We have what's authentic that we can use. Like the instruction of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, لِيُبَلِّغَ الشَّاهِدُ مِنْكُمُ الْغَائِبِ. He used to tell his companions after he tell them a hadith, he said, let those who are present, who hear me, let them tell the ones who are absent. So that's an encouragement. Listen to what he's saying. Pay attention to his hadith. He said it may be that the one who was told about it understands it better than the one who heard it. So when one of the companions hears his hadith, like Umar, yarhamakallah, he had a neighbor. He would work in the field one day, and Umar would come and listen to the hadith. And then the next day, Umar would work and he would come. Whatever he heard on that day, he would go to his companion and tell him. So Umar is a knowledgeable person, more knowledgeable than his neighbor. So when Umar's neighbor comes and Umar's neighbor hears the hadith and he goes and tells Umar, Umar's going to understand it better than him because Umar's knowledge was more than his. So that hadith is an encouragement. Memorize a hadith. Let the one who hears me tell the one who is not here. And why did he say that? He said that hadith on the day of Al-Hajj. He gathered all of the people and he started telling them different things about the last sermon. And then at the end of the last sermon he said, let those who are present tell those who are absent. We were not there, but right now we know all of those ahadith because the companions related to the people until it came to us. So that's an encouragement of putting this book together, teaching hadith, learning hadith. Another encouragement is the hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, nadarallahu imri'an sami'a hadithi fahafidhaha kama sami'aha. May Allah give light to the face of a person who memorized my hadith the way he heard it. So he made dua for that individual who says the hadith the way it should have been said. So in the Christian religion, Judaism, they say anything that they want to say. God said this, Jesus said that, and as a result of that, they lost their religion. In Islam, we can't do that. We can't say weak hadith, we can't make up hadith, we have to just stick to it. So those scholars of Islam, they wrote those books, 40 hadith, and many different issues, but we don't use the weak hadith to predicate these actions on them because all of the scholars know that that hadith is not authentic. So if anyone asks you, you yourself, don't ever believe anybody who writes a book 40 hadith who go to Jannah, anybody memorize 40 hadith, all of those are not authentic. All of them, not authentic. As it relates to the book of Al-Imam An-Nawawi rahmatullahi alayhi, he has 42 hadith in this book, not 40. It's 42 that Al-Imam An-Nawawi put, not 40. They call it 40 hadith taghliban. It's like in our language, in our culture. I want to ask you a question. They say a picture is worth how many words? How many?
1,000.
1,000. Why don't they say a picture's worth 100 words? Why don't they say a picture's worth 50? A picture's worth 50 words? Where did that number 1,000 come from? It came from somewhere in America. I know from America that they say a picture's worth 1,000 words. Here in the UK, you say the same thing. It's just in our culture. But a picture can be worth 10,000 words. So they call that a taghlib. It just happens like that. Happens like that. I don't know in your culture here. Let me ask you. When someone has an important question, they say they add a price to it. A price. Like the $100,000 question is. What price do you people add? What do you say here?
64,000.
In America, they say the $64 question is. I don't know where that number came from. $64. Why couldn't it be the $100,000 question? But these are just things that nuances that come in the culture. So he put 42 hadith, but it's called the 40 hadith taghliban. So it's 42. And it was increased by 8 hadith by one of the great scholars who explained the book. His name is Ibn Rajab al-Hanbali, who was from the students of Ibn Taymiyyah. So we understand from that and know he was before Ibn Taymiyyah. So Ibn Rajab al-Hanbali, he came and he added 8 to the 42 that Al-Imam An-Nawawi has. Al-Imam Ibn Rajab, he explained this book. Ibn Rajab explained An-Nawawi's book. I encourage you brothers to get that book because it's been translated into English. It's called Jami' al-Ulum wal-Hikam. Jami' العلوم والحكم في شرح 50 حديثا من جوامع الكلم. That book is in English. You can get it for free. You can get it online. The one who translated, his name is a Sheikh Jamaluddin Zarbuza. Just put Zarbuza. He's a revert from Spain, a white guy, European guy. Grew up in America, taught himself Arabic. Back in the 80s and the 90s, he was one of the famous prolific du'at. Spanish man, a Spaniard. So he translated that tremendous book by Ibn Rajab. Also one of the scholars, another student of Ibn Taymiyyah, his name is Ibn Daqiq al-Eid. He also explained the book, like many scholars, but the one of Ibn Rajab is the one you have to get. So how many hadith did Imam al-Nawawi bring? 42. And Ibn Rajab, he added 8, so it's 50. But why is it 40? Called 40 hadith and it's 42. Taqliban, because that's just the number that they use, like we use 1,000 and so forth and so on for different things. As for the subject matter of this book, now this is important because I just told you, many scholars, they wrote books 40 hadith in al-Riyadiyat. 40 hadith about exercising, the importance of exercising. The importance of exercising. Al-mu'min al-qawi khayrun wa ahabbu ila Allah min al-mu'min al-da'if. The strong believer is better and more beloved to Allah than the weak one. So they'll bring all of those hadith about the importance of archery, the importance of being a warrior. Al-Riyadiyah, Al-Riyadiyat, the 40 hadith of marriage. من تزوج فقد استكمل نصف دينه فليتق الله في شطر الآخر. Anyone who gets married, he completed half of his religion. Let him fear Allah and the other half. That book is only going to bring hadith connected to marriage. 40 hadith of jihad. That's only going to talk about jihad. What is Al-Imam al-Nawawi's book about? What is this about? Is it about marriage? Is it about jihad? Is it about tasawwuf? Is it about nikah? Is it about al-adab? No. Al-Imam al-Nawawi's book is about the Jawami' al-Kalim. And this is a phrase you have to know. I've said it in this masjid a few times. Anybody know from amongst you what is the Jawami' al-Kalim? What does that mean, Jawami' al-Kalim? Anybody know? This book that Al-Imam al-Nawawi brought is the book in which he only brought the ahadith that are from the Prophet's Jawami' al-Kalim. Jawami' al-Kalim. Wish we had a blackboard right here, but you spell it how you want to. Jawami' al-Kalim. In our religion, and in knowing your Prophet and your Messenger, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, you should try to know this. He said in a number of authentic hadith, فُضِّلْتُ عَلَى الْأَنْبِيَاءِ بِسِتٍ. I have been given preference and precedence and superiority over all of the other prophets and messengers by 6 things. I've been given 6 things, none of them were given. And one of the things he said he was given, Jawami' al-Kalim wa khawatimiha. He was given the Jawami' al-Kalim. Jawami' al-Kalim is his ability to say something that has a few words, but it has far-reaching implications. And it's not just eloquence. You can say something in an eloquent way, like the politicians. They speak eloquently, but they're not saying anything. You ask them a question, he uses all of these big words and go all the way around, and then after answering the question, you're still looking at him dumbfounded. But he used big words, you need a dictionary to understand, but he didn't say anything. It's not eloquence like that. It is the ability to say something, but that one thing that he said, it had far-reaching implications and many, many benefits. Like the hadith that's in this book. When the man came and said, Ya Rasulullah, give me advice. Rasulullah said to him, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, La taghdab. Don't get angry. Okay, I won't. What's the next one? Again, don't become angry. Okay, I got it. What's the next one? Give me new advice. He said it 3 times, don't become angry. Now as we live right here, all of us, without any exceptions, All of us have tasted the marara, the sourness, the sting of anger. Either because we got angry or other people got angry. And there's a sting connected to it. It's the third divorce, you're done. You said something to your wife, she'll never forgive it for it. She says something to you, you'll never forgive her for it. The mother says out of anger, may the curse of Allah be upon you. And as a result of that, that dua is answered. Anger is a mushkila. So when he said, La taghdab, the Imam can come here for the rest of this year, from now until Ramadan. He gave the khutbah about anger. He would have done a service to the community. Many things to talk about concerning anger. That's what this book is about. And Imam an-Nawawi wasn't concerned with many of the ahadith that the Prophet said, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, about ahkam, rules and regulations. Although it has some rules and regulations, he was concerned with the ahadith from the jawami al-kalim. Those things, if you were to look at them and dissect them, you would see that his words were impregnated with a lot of fawaid and ibr, benefits, lessons, many. That's what this book is about. That's what this book is about. It's not about marriage as such. It's not about jihad as such. It's not about adab as such, although all of those issues are mentioned here. It is about the jawami al-kalim of the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa ala alihi wa sallam. Now we come to the hadith. The very first hadith. And Imam an-Nawawi, he doesn't do what the scholars of al-hadith normally do when they bring the hadith of the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. He doesn't bring the whole chain of narration. He just stops at the companion who narrated the hadith. And he said here, rahmatullahi alayhi, an Amir al-Mu'mineen, Abi Hafs, radiyallahu anhu. And Abu Hafs is Umar ibn al-Khattab. He called Umar by his kunya, Abu Hafs. We have to stop here, Abu Hafs. Umar, he had a nickname just like Imam an-Nawawi. He has a nickname, he has a kunya. An-Nawawi's nickname is Abu Zakaria. His kunya is Muhyiddin. Umar, his name is Umar. His nickname is Al-Faruq, because the Prophet called him that, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And his kunya is Abu Hafs. This is important. Scholars of Islam, they wrote books about how to name yourself and how to name your children. How to name yourself and how to name your children. Brother had a relationship in Jahiliyyah. The lady had a son. The son is 20-something years old. The son had a son from marriage to a non-Muslim girl, but the son is a Muslim not practicing. Father speaks to the son and said, I heard you had a child. He said, yes. He said, what did you name the child? He said, I named the child Jaquan. Okay, no problem. You can make up a name, no problem. Especially in the African American community, we come up with crazy names. Jaquan, Fuquan. We have a lot of crazy names. This will sound good. There's a singer's name is Jahim. Jahim is the knot of Jahannam. That name is Jahim. What's the name of your son? Jaquan. Okay. Jaquan what? He was hoping that the boy would say Jaquan, the name of his son, Abdullah, the name of the father who's calling, Ahmed. He said, I call him Jaquan Amir Johnson. The whole naming system is wrong. The whole system is wrong. She comes and she marries her husband. She's born and raised as a Muslim. Her name is Fatima Muhammad Ali Chowdhury. When she marries her husband, she becomes Fatima and she takes his last name, Fatima Dhahabi. You can't do that. There's fiqh in the way you name yourself. Things you should say, things you shouldn't say. So one of the things the scholars wrote about on this issue is the kunya and the nicknames. So here we have Umar. His kunya is Abu Hafs. This is important, guys. Hafs is really Hafsa, his daughter Hafsa, who married the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But she was called Hafs because in the Arabic language, it is permissible to cut off the ta and marbuta if there's no ishkal. You can cut off the ta marbuta in the Arabic language, writing it or saying it, if the person is going to understand what you're talking about. So Rasulullah used to call our mother Aisha, used to call her Aish, and he wouldn't say Aisha. Because in the Arabic language, you can cut the ta marbuta off if there be no problems. But if there's a man, his name is Aish, and a woman, her name is Aisha, don't say ya Aish and you're talking to Aisha, because there's ishkal. He's going to think you're talking about him. Mecca. So the scholar wrote something and he said he made Umrah in Mecca and he didn't put the ta marbuta. You know he's talking about Mecca. That's number one. That's why it's Abu Hafs, but it's talking about Hafsa. Number two, it goes to show the permissibility of taking a kunya after your daughter. A man came to the Prophet ﷺ, and the Prophet heard that they were calling him Abul Hakam. Abul Hakam. He said, why do they call you that? He said, because whenever the people have a dispute, they come to me and I render a judgment, and both sides are always happy with my judgment, so they call me the father of ruling. Prophet said, no, Allah is Al-Hakam. Don't take that name. And that goes to show the seriousness of judging by other than what Allah revealed. It's not a small thing. So when we say to brothers who that is their dawah, that is their path, ala ras wal ayn, we're with you. It's a serious thing. If someone comes and says, hey people, be careful about voting. Voting is kufr and shirk. Don't look at him and say, you're mutashaddiq, you're too rough, you're too tough. Because judging by other than what Allah revealed is kufr, and if we knew a tawheed and the importance of aqidah, we would know it's a serious issue. أَمْ لَهُمْ شُرَكَاءُ شَرَعُوا لَهُمْ مِنَ الدِّينِ مَا لَمْ يَأْذِنْ بِهِ اللَّهُ. Do they have partners who have legislated for them what Allah didn't? And Allah called them partners. It's shirk. وَمَنْ لَمْ يَحْكُمْ بِمَا أَنزَلَ اللَّهُ فَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْكَافِرُونَ. But relax, because there are those ulama who also took pros from the kitab and the sunnah and the maqasid of the religion, the goals and the objectives, and those scholars say it's permissible to vote under certain circumstances. If we are going to vote for someone who can clearly minimize the harm that comes to us. He doesn't get rid of all of it, but he minimizes it. Like sex education, like different things that when they run, they're going to help the community with that. They're going to increase us with some good. If that can really happen, then it's permissible to vote. So both sides should be balanced. It should be tolerant. But the point here is the other side. If someone comes and says we shouldn't vote because of his seriousness, don't say he's shadid, he's rough and tough. Respect that point of view because it's serious. And the one who says that you can't vote, when he looks at the one who says you can't vote, don't look at him, you don't have any deen. You want shirk. Don't be like that, because there are goals and objectives of our religion and fatwas that support both sides. So you take your side with knowledge and don't be argumentative and intolerant. Abu Hafs, it shows that man came. He said, they call me Abu Hakam. Rasulullah said, okay, what, you have sons? He said, yes. He said, what's their names? He said, I have Abdullah, I have Muslim, and I have Shurayh. I have three sons, Abdullah, Muslim, and Shurayh. Rasulullah said, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, which one is the eldest? He said, Shurayh. He said, you're Abu Shurayh. Which one is the eldest? Shurayh. You're Abu Shurayh. Abdullah is a better name than Shurayh. Muslim is a better name than Shurayh. But because Shurayh was the eldest, we understand from that, from the fiqh of taking a kunya, is you name it after your eldest son. The kunya is after your eldest son, Abu USAMA. But Umar was Abu Hafsa. So it goes to show the permissibility of taking a kunya after the girl. Because Hafsa was older than Umar's son Abdullah. And there were other companions who had kunyas after their daughters, like Uthman ibn Affan. Uthman had a daughter, Layla. It was Abu Layla. A companion, Abu Umama. The tremendous companion, Abu Darda. who named both of his wives Darda and Darda. Darda is the girl who has dimples in her cheek. Abu Rayhana, Abu Aisha, Abu Jamila. From the Salaf, Abu Hanifa. So if your daughter is the eldest, you can take that kunya. It's permissible. It's permissible. It's permissible. So that's what we say about Abu Hafs Umar. Hafs here is Hafsa. He said, he heard the Prophet say, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, إِنَّمَا الْأَعْمَالُ بِالنِّيَّاتِ وَإِنَّمَا لِكُلِّ امْرِئٍ مَّا نَوَى فَمَنْ كَانَتْ هِجْرَتُهُ إِلَى اللَّهِ وَرَسُولِهِ فهجرته إلى الله ورسوله ومن كانت هجرته إلى الدنيا ليصيبها أو امرأة ينكحها فهجرته إلى ما هاجر إليه. The Nabi said in this Jawami al-Kalim, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, verily your deeds, the deeds will be judged based upon the intention. And verily every single individual will get that which he intended. So the person who made hijrah with the intention of going for Allah and His Messenger, to Allah and His Messenger, because of Allah and His Messenger he made the hijrah, then that's what his reward will be. That's what his hijrah was all about. It was for Allah and His Messenger. It was for ikhlas, sincerity. That's what he wanted. And anyone who made hijrah to get some dunya, some benefit, a job, money, wealth, status, a nice house, or he made hijrah to get married to a woman. There's a lady over there that he's digging her. Anybody who made hijrah because of that, then his hijrah will be in accordance to what he made it for. And then Imam an-Nawawi told us this hadith has been collected by the two Imams of the Muhaddithin. He didn't say that it was collected by some of the Muhaddithin. He said by the two Imams and leaders of the Muhaddithin. First one is Abu Abdullah Muhammad ibn Ismail ibn Ibrahim ibn Mughira ibn Bardazba al-Bukhari. And also by Imam Abu Hussein Muslim ibn al-Hujjaj ibn Muslim al-Qushayri and Naysaburi in their two books Sahihain. And they are the two most authentic books that have ever been authored. They are the two most authentic books that have ever been authored. That's the first hadith, Ikhwani. Now, this first hadith is tremendously important. I don't think anybody here has existed in al-Islam and didn't hear this hadith. This hadith is one of the most important hadith in al-Islam. Some of the ulama said that this hadith is half of this religion. Some of the ulama say this is one of the hadith that the whole religion of al-Islam revolves around. This hadith is critical in getting fit. Abu USAMA coming right now to give this class, what is his hijrah for? What is his niyyah? So the people can look at me and say, oh, look at that, look at that. And why are you sitting there? And this one is writing and the other one is not writing. That one is in the front row. This hadith is connected to everything we do every single day. And it's one of those hadith that the Muslim should not be jahil about. So we're going to take our time on it because it has a lot of benefits. And I have to deal with this issue of the chain of narration. So I'm going to ask these three brothers, starting with that brother right there, and then that one and that one. I need you to come up here. Hurry up, guys. Hurry up. You three. Stop moving like you got molasses. Come on, you three. 1, 2, 3. Come on. What's wrong with our kids, man? It's like you point to them and they keep looking around. I didn't mean you, but you're making it easy. You too. Come on, 2 more. Hurry up. Whose sons are these? Come up here. Whose sons are these guys? And now they're 4. All right, you get over here. You can stay there. What's your name, son? Asif? I know Asif, yeah. What's your name? Jamal. What's your name? Ijaz? Jad. Okay, guys, chain of narration is important. Umar, and we're just going to use this symbol. We don't believe in imitating Umar or imitating the prophets and the messengers. But we're using this as a symbol so you'll get a visual. Umar heard this hadith from the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he's the only companion who narrated this hadith. And there are hundreds of thousands of companions. So how is it and why is it that only Umar narrated? You ain't going to find this hadith authentic on another companion, not Abu Hurairah or anyone. Only Umar. That's it. He's the only companion who narrated this hadith. This man, his name is Alqama ibn Waqqas. He narrated it from Umar, and he's the only one from the Tabi'een. Umar is in the level of the companions, 100,000. The Tabi'een learned from the companions, 200,000, 300, even more. But this man, Alqama ibn Waqqas, is the only one who narrated from Umar. And he's the Amir al-Mu'mineen. All the people met him. He was leading the people, teaching the people on Jummah, Khutbah, Eid. He's telling the people. And this is an important hadith, but only Umar got it, and only he took it from Umar. Alqama, only Alqama. And then after Alqama, who took it from Alqama is a man, his name is Muhammad Ibrahim at-Taymi. So Alqama al-Laythi, only one. The only one who took it from him, Muhammad Ibrahim. How was that? And then there came a man, and his name was Yahya ibn Sa'id. He took it from Muhammad, and over 700 people took it from him. Many people. We understand that. Many people. From them, the great ulama of Islam, like the ones who had the madhahib, like Abdullah ibn Mubarak, for an example, like Al-Imam al-Awza'i had a madhab. He took it from him. From who? Yahya ibn Sa'id al-Ansari. Also, from those who took the hadith from him, the 700 people, many. Al-Imam Malik, Al-Imam Sufyan al-Thawri, Al-Imam Ibn Uyayna, Al-Imam Shu'bah, all of them took it from him. But only Umar? That's kind of strange. And only this one man from the Tabi'een, Alqama, al-Laythi, that's it. And only one man from him, and then he took it from him, and then many people took it from him. Now, this is from the Gharaib of Al-Imam al-Bukhari Sahih. When you look at Al-Imam Sahih al-Bukhari, his book, yeah, some regular people just read the hadith and that's it. That book is an amazing piece of work. It is an amazing piece of work. When you talk about the computer and what the computer can do, Sahih al-Bukhari is like that. But because we're living close to the time, Yawm al-Qiyamah, and because Iman is low and things like that, it's easy for the Muslims to say, not just Bukhari, they'll say, I don't want that hadith. I don't want the Sunnah. It doesn't go with my mind. And some people reject this hadith. Why? Their intellect. How is it possible that only Umar? How is that possible? And doesn't that make sense? That does make sense though, right? How can such an important hadith only one companion hear it? And how is it possible all the people who love Umar want to learn from him, only one person took it? And then one from him. And then he took it from him and the rest of people took it from him. How is that possible? He's the only one who took it from him. The only one. But many people took it from him. How is that? Okay, guys, you can sit down. Thank you very much. Hurry up, man. Get the molasses out of your feet, man. These guys move like molasses in the wintertime. You know when molasses, it go real slow like that. Syrup. And in the wintertime, it's even slow. But you put them out on the football pitch, and they be all over the place. And Allah bless you, Shabbat. Khwani, you call this hadith the hadith al-ahad. The hadith with a singular narration. It's important, guys. I don't want to get too deep, but it's our religion. They call this the hadith ahad, from the word ahad, wahid. It's an irregular hadith, only one narrator. Some of the people who use their brains and their intellect and their philosophical, they come and they say, we reject any and every hadith like this. Even if it's in Bukhari and Muslim, like this particular hadith is in Bukhari and Muslim. And their reasoning is, how can we accept it? How? We can't fathom only Umar narrating. We can't fathom only one tabi. We can't fathom. So I'm going to throw it away. That's not scholastic. You don't accept and reject things based upon that. How do you know it's true? because Abu USAMA said it on the minbar on Friday. That makes it true. That doesn't make it true. Things that are true or not true, correct and incorrect, in our religion, there are characteristics that are connected, sciences that are connected to it. So we say very quickly, without getting deep into this, we say very quickly, Allah mentioned in the Quran, وَمَا آتَاكُمُ الرَّسُولُ فَخُذُوهُ وَمَا نَهَاكُمْ عَنْهُ فَانْتَهُوا. Whatever the Prophet gives to you, take it. And whatever he prohibits you from, leave it. So if he brings you a hadith that's ahad, or a hadith that's aziz with 2 narrators, or one that is mutawatir, many narrators, it's irrelevant. As long as the men in that chain of narration are good, then that hadith is authentic. Because if you open up the door like this, you will reject a lot of this religion. And plus, the Salaf didn't know this stuff. The people of the past, they were not like this. They didn't use their brain like this. Look how many proofs there are against this. Only one person came, so I can't take it because only one person. The issue of the Qibla. The issue of the Qibla. The Muslims used to face Bayt al-Maqdis when they prayed. And the Prophet ﷺ wanted to be different from the Yahud and the Nasara. So he used to look up in the sky, wanting that Allah would reveal something to change the Qibla from Bayt al-Maqdis to Mecca. And that ayat was revealed. Surah Al-Baqarah, ayat 144. لَقَدْ نَرَى تَقَلُّبُ وَجْهَكَ فِي السَّمَاءِ فَلَنُوَلِّيَنَّكَ قِبْلَةً تَرْضَاهَا فَوَلِّ وَجْهَكَ شَطْرَ الْمَسْجِدِ الْحَرَامِ. We see you, Muhammad, looking up to the sky, desiring a change of the Qibla. We see you doing that. And now we're going to change your Qibla to one that you're pleased with. When you want to pray, turn your face to the Qibla, Masjid al-Haram. When that ayat was revealed in the Prophet's masjid, everybody heard it. Rasulullah read those ayats to him. But Rasulullah was in his masjid. One of his companions went to another masjid, Masjid Quba. Masjid Quba. After the incident, he went to Masjid Quba. The people were praying. That companion said, hey, the Qibla has been changed. And then he read the ayat. When the Muslims heard that ayat in prayer, they turned around in prayer. Why? Because the one who is telling them is from the companions. And he's thiqah. He's sadiq. None of the companions are kadhab. None of them. Those brothers I showed you, there are many people on that man's level. Many in their era. Some of them are truthful, some of them are not. Some of them forgot, some of them didn't. But those companions, Allah said, radiyallahu anhum. Allah is pleased with all of them. Yeah, some of them made zina, some of them murdered someone did this, someone did that, but they were not liars. And there are just too many ahadith to tell you about this particular issue. We don't have time. So no one said, no, you have to bring someone else to support that statement. You by yourself is not enough. They didn't say that. Based on his one statement, everybody moved. The famous hadith, so many incidents. The famous hadith of the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam that Abdullah ibn Abbas, he said, Rasulullah sent Mu'adh ibn al-Jabal to Yemen by himself. He told Mu'adh, you're going to the people of Ahlul Kitab. Make the first thing you give them da'wah to la ilaha illallah. If they accept that, tell them they have to pray 5 times a day. If they accept that, tell them they have to give zakat. And when you take their zakat, stay away from the best of their wealth. Mu'adh went by himself. He started telling the people, la ilaha illallah. Not a single person said, no, we can't accept this from you because you're by yourself. You have to bring someone else, another companion. No, he gave da'wah to la ilaha and the people accepted. And giving da'wah to la ilaha illallah is aqidah. He's giving da'wah to aqidah. Telling them about salah, it's about the ahkam. So this particular hujjah, this argument of these people, is just philosophical rhetoric. Beware of these people. And you know, one of the groups today that believes in this, and many of their followers don't even know that, Hizb Tahrir. Many of our sincere brothers who want the ruling by what Allah revealed, They are fixated on this particular issue, but they don't know the history many times, who started that group and what was the aqeedah of that group. The man who started that group, he was of the opinion you don't have to accept the hadith ahad. It's rejected in aqeedah and ahkam. I'm not saying that to point out brothers from Hizb ut-Tahrir. I'm not saying that for that reason. Because this hadith is applicable to me. Whoever came for hijrah to put someone down from the community to big himself up, then that's what you're going to get the reward for. What I'm saying is, it's intertwined and interconnected. As you sit there and you see this visual, you sit there and you say, hey, that's Umar, he's thicker, we're going to accept it. Okay, and that's the right way. But if you belong to a group of people who are teaching you these types of ways, we should know this particular thing this person is saying is wrong. Whatever comes to us from the Prophet ﷺ, we have to accept it, provided that the people who are saying it are good people, acceptable people, and people who narrations from them are accepted. Last thing we want to say, ikhwani, and a lot can be said. Last thing that we want to say, inshallah, is concerning this hadith being the first hadith of 40 hadith. When the scholars put their books together, the ulama of Islam, it's not done in a haphazard way. It's like when you go to the university, the people who put the syllabus together, it's not haphazard. It goes from easy to hard, usually, and the introduction is always a manhaj, a methodology. And Imam al-Bukhari and Imam al-Nawawi, he put this book first, this hadith first, for a reason. One reason is because of the importance of the hadith that I told you about. Number two is because many of the scholars of the past used to start their books off with this hadith, irregardless of what the subject matter is of the book. Al-Bukhari, in his Sahih al-Bukhari, the very first hadith is this one, إِنَّمَا الْأَعْمَالُ بِالنِّيَّاتِ, Al-Imam al-Bukhari. One of the greatest scholars of Islam, his name is Abdul Ghani al-Maqdisi. He has a book called Umdatul Ahkam. Umdatul Ahkam. One of the most important books to study when you want to study fiqh from hadith. What is that book, Umdatul Ahkam? It's a book in which he only put in that book the hadith where Bukhari and Muslim have agreed on it, like this book, hadith. And he's going to give you fiqh rulings. You know how you get a book in fiqh? Any book in fiqh, any book. They're going to talk about the water, they're going to talk about ghusl, they're going to talk about wudu, ghusl, they're going to talk about salat, zakat, they're going to talk about adhan, marriage, jihad. He brought a book, Umdatul Ahkam, where he only brought the hadith where Bukhari and Muslim agreed on this hadith to explain the importance of wudu. Bukhari and Muslim brought this hadith about nikah. And it's difficult to make a book like that. Difficult. You know how much knowledge you have to be able to pick out only the hadith. Bukhari and Muslim, for every point you're trying to prove, so that if the Muslim were to learn this book, memorize for the most part, he knows what he's saying is authentic. Because it's in Bukhari and Muslim. Anyway, he started that book of fiqh with this hadith. إِنَّمَا الْأَعْمَالُ بِالنِّيَّاتِ. One of the great scholars of Islam, Al-Imam al-Baghawi. Al-Imam Abu Bakr Hussein bin Muhammad al-Baghawi. He has two very important books. He has a book called Sharh al-Sunnah. It's comparative fiqh, one of the most important books written in Islam. He started it off with this hadith. It's a fiqh book. Started off with this hadith. He has another hadith similar to Riyadh al-Salihin. It's called Masabih al-Sunnah. He started off with this hadith. So you get the point. And there are many books like that. Al-Imam al-Nawawi did his books like that. Riyadh al-Salihin starts off with this hadith. He wrote a book, the Kitab Mashru' al-Mujmu' started off with this hadith. Started off with this hadith, So Al-Imam al-Nawawi started his book off with this hadith as if to say, get your niyyah together. I and Nawawi, I'm putting this book together, And the first thing is my niyyah. You as the Muslim have a good niyyah. You as the teacher, you as the student, you as the one giving sadaqah, have a good niyyah. You people who brought the food for the people, have a good niyyah. Make your niyyah. You wearing the jilbab, the niqab, have a good niyyah. You got your beard, have a good niyyah. You're going to pray a niyyah. You're going to be the mu'adhin, have a good niyyah. Any and everything that you do, got to realize your niyyah. That's why the scholar said this hadith is half of the religion. Because the religion is your niyyah and it's your actions. And all of the actions will be accepted or rejected by Allah based upon, number one, what is the niyyah? Number two, is it in accordance to the sunnah? Some of the scholars like Imam Ahmed said, the usul of the religion, the three main hadith in this religion are three. First one, إِنَّمَا الْأَعْمَالُ بِالنِّيَّاتِ. This one that we're dealing with. Number two, the hadith of whoever introduced in this religion was not from it will be rejected. Your actions. Number three, the third one, the hadith of Nu'man ibn Bashir. Verily the halal is clear, the haram is clear. And between the two of them is the gray area that not many people know about. He said those are the three main hadith of this whole religion. So we're going to stop right here, inshallah, as we gentlemen. I wanted to share with you, brothers, some of the things that the ulama of Islam said about these two hadith, this one hadith, but we're going to stop right here, inshallah. If you brothers have any questions, we'll give you the benefits and some of the ahkam of the hadith next week, inshallah, or in 2 weeks' time, a fourth night. Do you brothers have any questions concerning what was said?